Hi everyone, Boris Johnson's in trouble again. I've done 5 or 6 videos and I think it's just occurred to me that there's a good chance that in every one of those 5 or 6 videos I've said, Boris Johnson's in trouble again. He said something and he's in a load of trouble, and a load of people are losing their minds on Twitter and other social media places. I was alerted to it by this. This is David Lammy, who is Labour MP for Tottenham, I believe. If somebody, I'm sure you'll correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Muslim women, he says, are having their burqas pulled off by thugs in our streets, and Boris Johnson's response is to mock them for looking like letterboxes. Our pound shop Donald Trump is fanning the flames of Islamophobia to propel his grubby electoral ambitions. So I thought, really, he's compared them to looking like letterboxes? What's he said, and what's he really said? What words did he say around that? Context is always important, especially when people are losing their shit on Twitter. Like this from James OBrien, who seems to think whatever this is some far-right plot that he cooked up with Steve Bannon when they met last week or whenever it was. So I thought, okay, I need to find out exactly what Boris Johnson has said here to get the full idea. And I immediately came across this. This is the latest article in the Guardian. And the reason I'm pointing to this is because I think the title is cute. Because they've said there, Boris Johnson accused of, quote, dog whistle Islamophobia. Now, usually when you hear the phrase dog whistle anything, it's in conjunction with, it's a dog whistle for anti-Semitism. So they're using a lot at the moment, obviously, with this ridiculous smear job on the politician who has been the least anti-Semitic and least racist in the government for the last 30, 40 years. They're trying to convince people he's it's just pathetic. It really is. There was nothing in this article other than an ex-Tory chair had said he should apologise. And I eventually found this is where all the controversy started. It's this article. So it's not him opening his mouth and words falling out this time. It's Boris Johnson's picked up a pen. The title is, Denmark has got it wrong. Yes, the burqa is oppressive and ridiculous, but that's still no reason to ban it. I thought, right, okay. Agree with the title totally. Now, I'm going to tell you this, and anybody who's ever seen this show, you'll never read anything of Boris Johnson or hear Boris Johnson again without this being in your head. Whenever I read anything written by Boris Johnson, in my head I read it in the voice of the guy that Paul Whitehouse used to play in the comedy sketch show The Fast Show years ago. He used to sit in the chair with the grey hair. Snake! And you hear one word in every 3 sentences. That's how I read anything written by Boris Johnson. Whenever he opens his mouth, that's what... I tell you, other people are going to say that now. Other people are going to be like, The Fast Show? What are you talking about? Never heard of it. So this is what the whole controversy is about. This is why MP David Lammy and James OBrien, is he a disc jockey somewhere? Yeah, LBC, is it? Something like that. This is what Boris Johnson wrote. If you told me that the burqa is oppressive, then I am with you. If you say that it is weird and bullying to expect women to cover their faces, then I would totally agree. And I would add that I can find no scriptural authority for the practice in the Quran. Okay, perfect. Nothing wrong with that. Most people would totally agree with it. And he says this, I would go further and say it is absolutely ridiculous that people should choose to go around looking like letterboxes, and I thoroughly disliked any attempt by any invariably male government to encourage such demonstrations as modesty. Notably, the extraordinary exhortations of President Ramzan Kadyrov of Chechnya, who has told the men of his country to splat their women with paintballs if they fail to cover their heads. That's what they're using as the material to lose their collective minds on Twitter. A simile. He's not using that in a racist way. He's not doing that in a racist way. He might have written that knowing that social justice warriors would lose their shit. That's a possibility. But there's certainly nothing Islamophobic about it. Oh. If you're walking around with something covering your head at all times, it's going to look a bit strange to a country that's not used to it. It's worth noting in this article, at the bottom here, it says, He's written this. It says, if Danish women really want to cover their faces, then it seems a bit extreme. All the caveats above understood. To stop them under all circumstances, I don't propose we follow suit. A total ban is not the answer. So the people on, on Twitter and the people on the TV at the moment are losing their minds because Boris Johnson used a simile. You can't ban similes. You can't ban jokes. It's a joke. A simile is usually used in a humorous way. To rat up a drain pipe. It's comparing two things in a funny way. It's the best way to use similes is humorous. And this is all stemming from Denmark banning the burqa, I assume, and stemming from other countries doing it as well. So I started looking into it. Started thinking, is this really a big issue? That many women in the UK wearing a burqa? Couldn't find any recent figures. The most recent thing I found was this from 2013. It says, a study in France in 2009 by the Internal Security Services suggested that out of a population of 1.5 to 2 million adult Muslim women, about 1,900 wore either burqas or something similar. And then it says this, the figure of 1,900, however, came because the Secret Service initially came up with the figure of 367, but was deemed to be so low that they were asked to count again. So some French Secret Service guy has gone, or Security Service guy, so he goes, sir, is it 100,000, 200,000? No, sir, 367. Oh, not enough. He said it's not enough. We'll up it to 1,900. That seems more reasonable. But that's in 1.5 to 2 million adult Muslim women. There's obviously less in the UK. I found this from about the same time. This is in The Guardian. I'll link to all these articles down below, by the way. I'll start doing that as a practice now. And it says about 800,000 women in the UK. So that's 2 to 3 times less than were in France at the time, of which there were only 367 who wore burqas or something similar. So we could well be looking at here this whole thing, this whole controversy about burqas, especially if it comes to Britain, which it will never happen, by the way. They won't ban the burqa over here. Here. There was a woman in 2006 who couldn't even wear her cross on a stewardess's uniform or British Airways uniform. She couldn't wear it on her neck because it was against company policy. They're not going to ban the burqa. They're not going to ban it. You can't ban anything religious like that. You're just not. It's not going to happen over here. It might happen in other countries. It won't happen over here. So, especially we're talking, if you look at those figures, there could very well be less than 150, less than 100 women in the UK who actually wear a burqa anyway. Are they out in the streets now protesting about Donald Trump? About Boris Johnson? Donald Trump in my mind. I feel like Cenk Uygur. Of course they're not out in the streets. It's other people getting offended on Muslim women who wear the burqa's behalf. I feel like in 2016 the world collectively lost its mind. I really do. I felt like Donald Trump was elected in 2016 and the entire planet just lost its mind. Or maybe that was when I woke up to everything and it had always lost its mind. Because this is the latest. Theresa May demands Boris Johnson apologise for Islamophobic burqa letterbox comments. Demands it. And Boris Johnson said, no, I'm not. I don't think he should either. I'm expecting backlash over this. I'm expecting people to say, no, you're wrong. It's blah, blah, blah. If it's this, if it's that. No, it's not. That's a simile. That's what it is. And while I know that this Islamophobia and everything and is a touchy subject, as all religions are, and I know that they have got this campaign against Jeremy Corbyn at the moment. It's anti-Semitism, which is just pathetic, and trust me, everybody can see through it. Nobody is being fooled by this. Nobody who wouldn't be voting the other way anyway. If they're using this as sort of their left-wing equivalent of the Islamophobic, of the anti-Semitic argument, and they're using it as a blunt instrument to beat Boris and the Tories over the head with, grow up. Look at this from James O'Brien. This is the last thing I saw. If Boris Johnson can insult Muslim women in a newspaper column, sections of society will feel empowered to insult Muslim women in public. He knows this. His defenders know this. They're all quite comfortable with it. Why are people making this out to be a bigger deal than it is? That's my opinion. Why are they doing it? James O'Brien, I highly doubt that sections of society that would feel empowered to insult Muslim women don't read the Daily Telegraph. What is the matter with these people? Why has the planet lost its collective mind? Is it me? Did it happen in 2016? Or was that when I was awake to it? If you really want to wear the burqa because of your religious beliefs, go right ahead. I'll defend your right to do it. If your religious beliefs say that you should walk around naked all the time, have at it. Go for it. I'll defend your right to do that. But there's two things you need to understand. First of all, don't expect it to get you many jobs. Okay? Second of all, although I defend your right to do that and to be whatever you want and believe whatever religion you say you are, I also defend other people's rights who feel that is ridiculous to make fun of it. And that's not Islamophobia. That's not a dog whistle for anything. That's standing up for a guy who, although I despise him and I disagree with everything he says usually and does, but on this, no, he's used a simile, and the worst case scenario is he's used a simile to try and bait people on the left into a trap, and they've fallen right in for it, right into it, hook, line and sinker. I'm hoping that other people agree with me here, because I'm kind of getting the feeling I'm going to get a backlash here. I hope that's not the case, but if it is, hey, I've been honest, which is more than I can say for some of these people, I think, on Twitter who are just using this as a blunt instrument by the look of it. Let me know what you think. Am I right here? Have they all just lost their minds? If you enjoyed this video, please click the bell down there and subscribe so you get a notification of next time I drop a video. Also, I can't do this without your help, so if you can afford it and you enjoy my videos, please support the channel by subscribing to my Patreon. Link is down there. You can do it for as little as $1 a month, and it really does help. If you can't afford it, that's fine. Please share my work and talk to other people about the issues that I bring up. Thanks very much for your support. Until next time, peace and take care.